Hello and welcome to Digital Assets class. First off, let me say I am not a financial advisor. These videos are for educational and entertainment purposes only. I encourage everyone to do their own research and never invest more than you can afford to lose. Okay, so let's talk about the market and setting realistic expectations as far as when things could happen. Now, the great thing about being in digital assets is the fact that it's a brand new, never seen before. We're sailing in uncharted waters, and this thing could blow its top at any time. The other side is we're in a brand new digital asset. We're walking in uncharted territories, and this thing could take 2 to 3 to 4 years or whatever time frame in order for it to finally take off. So the great part is we're in something that's groundbreaking and never seen before. The downside is we don't know when this thing is going to take off. Things we do know is governments around the world would not be setting up regulation and trying to understand how to regulate and tax in some situations these digital assets if they were going anywhere. So we know that this technology is here to stay. Governments, like I've said before, governments don't waste time, resources, and money in order to deal with something that's a fly-by-night, here today, gone tomorrow type situation. So we know this technology is groundbreaking. It'll revolutionize the financial industry, and it's going to save a lot of money, and it's going to make people a lot of money. So those two things alone, saving and making money, right there alone, this is not going anywhere. This is here to stay. There's going to be, a curve before it becomes mainstream because we are so early to the game, which is great for anybody that's investing now or that is invested in before and, previously. This is going to be, life changing for most of us. And I encourage everyone, if you found a digital asset that you want to invest in and a project that you want to invest in, like I said, my number one is XRP. Continue to buy while the market is low. Continue to, stack your bags full of XRP, because once it takes off, you're going to be having to hold on for the ride. And the thing about it is, even though we've been in a bull market as long as we have, a bear market as long as we have, we can start off into a bull market at any point. It could take off and start rolling at any point. So it could be tomorrow, it could be next week, it could be next month, it could be next year. But the thing about it is, like I said, this is not going anywhere. Now, we had a little news come out yesterday that VanEck and SolidX had temporarily removed their application for their Bitcoin ETF. Now, for those that don't understand what an ETF is, it is a exchange traded fund, which basically it allows investors to invest in a fund that tracks an asset. So instead of them investing directly into Bitcoin, they can invest into this investment vehicle that basically follows the price of Bitcoin. And that, for most people, they were looking at that as going to be a big windfall because, right now, just like we had to go through all those different steps in order to purchase XRP, well, it's really not that easy for most people to even invest in Bitcoin. They're used to being able to just call up their broker and saying, hey, I want to invest in this particular fund or stock or whatever, and their broker takes care of it. So with the launch of an ETF, they'd be able to do just that. They'd be able to call and say, hey, I want to invest in this ETF, and it allows them a little bit of diversity. So everybody's been kind of waiting for this ETF to be approved, and the SEC has been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. But they had a deadline coming up, and due to the government shutdown, the VanEck and SolidX decided to go ahead and pull the application instead of letting it sit there and not, because right now they're not in talks with anybody at the SEC because they're not at work. So they weren't able to continue to work out the differences, talk about the custody and manipulation and all the different things that the SEC wants to feel, safe and secure about before they approve the ETF. So with them not being able to talk to them, they decided to go ahead and pull the application for right now and reintroduce it at a later date, some point, down the future after the government is, after the government shutdown is over and everybody's back at work. So, like I said, you'll see different stuff as you get more and more into the market, and you start, doing your research and you start listening to different people. You'll see things like this come across, news that comes across. It may seem like, oh man, this is another setback, but it's really not. It's really not a setback at all. It may be, because in all honesty, the news of the ETF, them pulling the ETF application, didn't even really affect the market. The price of Bitcoin stayed about the same. So as things come out and people talk about different things, on a day-to-day basis, I wouldn't even worry about it for the most part. It's good to stay abreast of what's going on, understand the news and stuff that's coming out, but watching the day-to-day price is kind of fruitless at this point, because like I said, we're so far ahead of the curve. We've beat everybody to the game. The people that are investing right now and the people that are going to invest in the near future, we're beating everybody to the game. Wall Street hadn't gotten in yet. There's been some institutional investors, but not on the scale of what this is going to be in the future. Now I was going through and I was reading a little bit about what Brad Garlinghouse was saying the other day, and he was talking on this panel, the Ethereal Davos panel. He was there talking about XRP overtaking Ethereum, and this is something he had to say. He's saying this is a marathon and not a sprint, and measuring the success of any platform in a day-to-day, hour-to-hour is a fool's errand. And I think all of the major platforms are working on interesting use cases. I think we are still in the nascent stage of this market, and he was saying he doesn't consider Ethereum, he doesn't even consider what Ethereum is doing in a way as a competitor with what's going on with the XRP ecosystem. So, and this was somebody, I guess they had asked them, how they felt about XRP and Ethereum swapping places as far as their market cap goes, because some days XRP is the number 2 digital asset behind Bitcoin, and some days Ethereum is. But like he's saying, we're in such an early stage of this market that day-to-day prices, watching day-to-day prices is not even something that we should really do. I mean, yeah, you can pay attention to it, but I wouldn't put any stake into it right now. I wouldn't get antsy about it. We've got to understand and learn that we're so early that we have to be patient, and that's what's going to really pay off for us in the long run. Because of the fact that we're so early, and because we're in that time frame where everything is being set up, and people are discussing how they want to do different things, this is the best time to be in it, and the best time to continue buying, in my opinion. Because like I said, once the prices start taking off, then we're just going to sit back and hold on for the ride then. But I would I advise my friends and stuff that when we're talking about it, to just buy as much as you can, as often as you can, and just sit back and wait for it to happen. Because like I said, it's not going to go anywhere. This industry, this technology is here to stay. So another thing that happened yesterday, Binance, which is the digital exchange that I often talk about as far as buying XRP, they launched an over-the-counter option, or over-the-counter services for buying and selling crypto. And what over-the-counter basically allows you to do is buy large sums of crypto at one time without having to have an order filled over multiple buys or sales. And there's a lot of people that do, a lot of institutional investors that have come into the market. That's how they're actually buying their crypto, is over the counter. So you don't see price movements on your retail exchange, and that's how you're getting so much volume and stuff, and you don't really see a lot of a lot of the things that's going on in the exchange. You don't see those purchases happening because they're happening over the counter. So what over the counter allows you to do is to get a set price, and it allows you to buy large sums. So what they're looking at as far as their requirements to even do over the counter trading, you have to trade at least 20 BTC, which is roughly around $71,000 at this point. Now, this is something for us to pay attention to as the market matures and starts really taking off. If you've got enough XRP or Tron or any of these other coins to where your account gets to the point where it's $75,000 or $100,000 or whatever the amount is, it could be $250,000. I'm not sure exactly how large of a trade they can handle, but if they're asking you at a minimum of $71,000, then $250,000, $500,000 shouldn't be a big deal at all, and that'll allow you to do one trade and get it all filled at one time at one price. So that's something to think about. You want to set up as things start progressing, or you can even set it up now, depending on how many coins that you end up having. You could go ahead and start setting this up, because at some point you're going to want to withdraw or trade your XRP or Tron or Bitcoin. You're going to want to trade that in and get cold hard cash. Now, some people may leave their XRP in there to a point, because like I believe someday in the future, you'll be able to purchase things directly with a digital asset. You won't even have to exchange it for US dollars or euros or any other currency. You'll be able to buy it directly with your cryptocurrency. But who knows how far that is down the line. And in the next 2 years, 3 years, if these prices take off, this bull market takes over, we may want to go ahead and tap into our accounts and pull some money out. And this would be one way to do it. Now, you also, like I've said in one of my other videos, you want to set up your Coinbase account also, because Coinbase is the quickest way right now to get your cryptocurrency into US dollars and into your bank account. You can withdraw from Coinbase directly into your bank account, and they also have a deal with PayPal to where you can send you can trade your cryptocurrency on Coinbase and send those funds directly to PayPal and into your account within a matter of minutes. And I've actually done this before with Bitcoin, and it works great. You don't have to wait for 3, 4, 5 days for the money to actually go to your bank account. You can send it right over to PayPal and have it deposited into your account within minutes. So just some things to think about. Like I said, we're way ahead of the curve. We're beating all of the big money, big time investors to the punch here. And so we have to kind of sit back and be patient. Do your homework, learn as you go along, and stack your bags with as much cryptocurrency as you can. Thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.